So what's your podcast about?
Okay, this is making me feel really uncomfortable. Not like it.
It's like amplified
Is my mic
drama.
Okay. Well then, let's go. Good. 1, 2, 3. Hey, how you guys doing? My name is John Jeremy, and this is the Quiet Coyote Podcast. Ow! Excellent. Awesome. Hey, guys. So we're back here, and we have my friend here, Chris, who's back on the podcast
Hello.
again. Chris, how's it going?
It's going good, my friend. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, no, thank you for coming back. Thank you for agreeing to come back and then come back again. Like, I feel like you and my other friends, we also have Christine behind the camera. So Christine's working the camera. What's up, Christine? Yo. You won't see her right now unless she wants to hop on. Totally okay with that. No, but I feel like you have so much good stuff to say, and I'd love you to come on as much as possible. I did want to actually ask you about, I didn't know that you were doing a comedy show, and I saw that you shared that you were doing a comedy show,
Yeah,
and
man.
like I feel bad because I didn't know you were doing it. You were just sharing something, and maybe I didn't see your name on the flyer, or was it impromptu, or was your name on the flyer? I don't know if I saw
My
it.
name was on the flyer.
Oh, I didn't even look
My
at it like
friend did like a birthday show. She's a psychic medium.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever want to have her on the show, she'd be amazing. She's a comedian, a psychic medium, really cool chick. Kristen Dinsley, hello, Liv. So she was doing a show, and I am really out of the comedy loop. But
Yeah.
she was like, you wanna do 10 minutes? I was like, I think I can. Came up with some medium-related material, and I brought my harmonium for the first time.
Ooh.
Busted out my harmonium on the stage, and I played a little tunes.
Did you? So you graduated from the bongos?
I did. To be honest, those bongos are missing right now. I've had those bongos since I was 18 years old. I'm pretty sure they're in my garage somewhere, but I can't find them right now.
She's pretty mean on the bongo, probably a lot better on the harmonium, right?
Well, I know how to play the harmonium. The bongos, I just bang them. I don't know what I'm doing.
That's pretty easy. I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I equate.
Works out.
Am I wrong to equate a harmonium with like an accordion?
It's very similar. My husband calls it a hippie accordion.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good. Yeah. Because I love Weird Al, and I'm trying to make he's like touring, and I don't go to shows like that anymore. But I'm like, I think I might go to see Weird Al. He's like the king of like the accordion. So
How old is Weird Al now?
I don't know, but he looks great.
Yeah?
Yeah, he looks
He's gotta be
great.
like 80. Dude was like definitely 40 when I was a kid.
You think-
I mean, like, he's got to be like in
Was he one of those
70s
people?
at least? Maybe
But-
he was in his 30s in the 80s?
But wasn't he one of those people that kind of like he wasn't, I don't think he was old, but
No,
like
he
those people
wasn't.
that were like Steve Martin always had white hair, like when he was 20.
Yeah. Well,
You ever notice people that were like they were
Yeah.
always old? Like Betty White, I feel like Betty White was
she
always,
was old forever.
she was old forever.
Yeah, Weird Al was pretty young when I was young, but like I think 40s is young. I mean, he was a grown man. I was a child.
He was,
Yeah.
well,
I'm
okay.
44 now. He's got to be at least 70.
How old is he?
So my phone doesn't have any service.
Oh no.
Oh no!
It's okay. We were going to try to find out how old Weird Al was, but like Weird Al, okay, so Weird Al actually,
He's 66.
he's 66 years old.
Dude was in his 20s.
So that's
Wow.
so that's what I'm trying to say. So people back in the day,
Yeah.
they were actually they looked older than they were. Yeah, they looked older than they were.
Wow.
And nowadays, someone that is 27 looks like they're 16 years old.
Yeah.
So it has changed. I looked this up, right, using AI. We were talking about AI before, but like it was saying that basically 27 and 30 is now okay to be like living at home, versus back in the 90s. And I was asking it about like, kind of like a maturity inflation type of thing, like
Interesting.
where we more like pushed at younger ages. And it said, well, the average medium house was like 150,000 in the 90s, and now for it to jump to over 400, 400,000, it's like
Yeah.
a big difference. So like I could see now like why so many young kids have anxiety and depression and like feel like for me, it'd feel like a heavier burden to bear. I think so, to like carry that. But they were looking like they were 40 years old when they were 20.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Weird Al, go figure. I loved him. I had his cassette tape.
Did you? No way.
I did. I had like my little cassette thing, and I would put it in. And I'm bad. I'm
Yeah.
bad. You know it.
Did Christine? Do you know who?
Oh no,
who
it was
Weird
fat.
Al was?
He did fat. I'm fat.
Yeah, okay.
I'm
I
fat.
don't really know any songs though.
Yeah, they're probably all politically incorrect now. Yeah.
There was a lot of songs. Yeah, there were some songs. I'm not sure. I would love to go back and like look at it because I remember watching some movies with my friends and like telling them like this was made from a different time. Like I have to give them like a warning.
Right?
Because like,
Trigger warnings.
when we hang out, in
Movies of the
recovery, we meet
80s.
younger friends. So like my 20 or 25-year-old friends, they like if they see a movie that I grew up with and they're like even like Bill and Ted.
Hmm.
Like yeah, in the first two movies, they were using the F word, and I'm not talking about the curse word. They're using a different F word that we don't use nowadays. There's a lot of words that we don't
wow.
use.
Huh.
Yeah, and I was like, when I watched it again, because it's like it's nostalgic for me. So watching it again, I was like, oh, and then when they said it, and I was like, oh, I don't remember that. Like,
Oh wow.
I guess that was too much of a.
I don't remember it either.
But
Realize.
Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter,
Yeah.
he played Weird Al in a movie called Weird,
Oh,
and
interesting.
it's about Weird Al's life, and it's for free on Roku. So if anybody wants to check that out, but it's Weird Al.
Got to be an interesting role to play.
Well,
He's a weird dude.
for Daniel to play it,
Yeah.
but it was not serious. It was like
Okay.
fake. Weird Al wrote it, so like his.
Oh, okay.
It's like it's supposed to be.
It's a
like
comedy?
It's a comedy. You get it.
Gotcha.
It's like
Okay.
not real.
Okay. All right.
I loved it. If you love Weird Al, I think you're really.
I think I would like it. I'm gonna check it out.
I like watching a lot of comedic stuff. I've watched Heckler with Jamie Kennedy. It was a documentary. I listen to a lot of podcasts like Bad Friends, which is two comedians, really great comedians, and they have comedians that come on and watch a lot of stand up. And so I'm really into that. So it like kind of blows my mind that you were able to come up with like 10 minutes of material because I literally just was watching Kill Tony. I don't know if you're not familiar with Kill Tony, but it's a big comedy thing. And they have amateurs come up, and you have a minute. You could do a minute, and then after a minute, you talk to the hosts. So it's like a live podcast type of audition. It's like
Oh,
really,
interesting.
really cool, really scary, really weird. And anyway, long story short is, if you really came up with like a 10-minute material on the subject matter offhand, like that I think that's crazy. I don't think like
Yeah, I think I told you last time I was here. Like, it just comes from stuff that happens in my life. I was playing a song on the harmonium one night, and my husband comes downstairs, and he's like, "Oh, you learned Run Around Sue on that thing?" And I was like, "No, it's like a very traditional Hindu hymn. Like, what do you mean?" And he's like, "Try it." So I try it, and it's the same exact chords as Run Around Sue.
yeah.
So like I just made that into a bit. Like my husband ruined
Ruined.
a Hindu hymn, and like everybody loved it because all of a sudden they're like, "Oh my God, it is Run Around Sue!" And then I just like put a couple of F words in the song, because
If you just throw in a couple
Sue's a
of
bit of a
curses,
yeah. You throw
doesn't-
in a couple of she's a whore and
Yeah.
all, they loved it.
I love that.
Yeah,
I feel like I heard. I feel like I heard somebody say that when they were just like, if you're just like bombing, you just say this one thing and just everyone starts laughing like a curse. Just say,
Yeah, you could even like say how bad you're bombing, and if you say it in the right way, it'll make them laugh. I've seen like a couple of videos of people bombing, and he's like, the fact that that's the hardest you guys laughed when I mentioned I was bombing is pretty bad. And everybody laughed, and that's like a good little break because everybody gets so uncomfortable. Like, what are we doing? And then they start hating you because like you're making them uncomfortable.
Yeah,
So if you could break it,
that's amazing.
yeah.
And how did you feel up there? So you haven't been up
It
there
was
in a
all
while.
right. It was okay. I felt good. Christine actually came to the show, which made me feel really good. And Kristen is someone I've produced shows with in the past. So I was really, I'm very familiar with the stage I was on. I've produced shows on that stage. So
I feel bad.
felt like 6 years hadn't gone by in some ways, you know?
6 years.
Yeah, it had been 6 years since I'd been on the stage.
Wow, that's like dusting off the mic and just getting.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like riding a bike. You just kind of like.
It worked. It went well. It went okay. And I did one open mic before that just to see if like the harmonium was too weird to pull out, and people seemed to like it. And I had done an open mic with the harmonium before, so that was kind of the first time I ever did it outside of like a kirtan. Just like seeing like, is this too weird to break out in front of people? You know, and people loved it. Loved it. They were like, "What is that?" You know,
like,
it's such
whoa.
a different
And you're like,
instrument. Yeah.
maybe they thought you were like the female Weird Al. And
Yeah,
and they were
maybe
like,
so.
Yo, we're gonna get a treat today. Like, what is going on?
They're very excited. They really liked it.
And then you could have done the fat one, the fat song from Weird Al.
I got to learn the chords, but yeah.
Yeah. Can you play anything on that thing?
Anything you can play on an accordion or piano.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's a little different from piano in that it's more like an accordion. So you just have to adapt the cadence.
yeah.
Something more like an accordion where it's constant flow.
I wonder,
rather than a
like-
piano, which is, you know.
I love karaoke. So that for the past couple of days, I've just been singing karaoke, and I've been doing "Forgot About Dre," and I like it. It's you know that song. If you heard
I
it, you
don't
would.
know any songs.
I was about to say.
I don't know. I live in like,
If you
the
heard it,
60s with
it's when
music.
Eminem, the hook goes, nowadays everybody want to talk that they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move the lips. There's a bunch of gibberish, and everybody acts they forgot about Dre. If you heard the beat, you know, because it's like
Maybe.
super classic.
I know
Doesn't-
that one song by Eminem where he's like, "The moment you want it."
Yeah, yeah,
song,
yeah.
That's a
That is the Grammy Award winning song.
Okay, well, there you go.
Lose It, yeah.
That's the song I know, and it's pretty damn good. And I've heard somebody like even break it down into. I've heard covers of it
Mm-hmm.
that are like so different from rap songs. It's pretty cool.
No, because I was about to say, like,
Sorry,
if
go
you
on.
learned how to play "Forgot About Dre," you could just
I could. You give me the chords, I'll
you can just
figure it out.
rap it, or someone could rap it
Hell yeah.
with you, like nee, 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 and then just
Okay. Look up the chords. Send them
doing
to
a
me.
rap song. That actually sounds like a comedy bit.
We could do it.
See, we're coming up with bits right now.
Yeah.
We're like coming, like we're. So, again, like I said, there used to be a show called Comedians in Cars, and it was Seinfeld driving around. and
Yeah.
he would getting coffee with comedians in cars, something like that.
Yes, I've heard of it.
So Seinfeld, you know, obviously famous for his stand up and obviously for a sitcom, but like he
About
believed
nothing.
that you couldn't teach comedy, and he comes from that line of thinking. But they obviously have comedy classes and college courses that have to do with comedy. And like, how do you feel about that? Do you feel like comedy can be taught in a class? Do you feel like it's
I think
as strong as Seinfeld? Like he's like,
interesting.
no, you can't teach it in a class.
That's great.
Either you're funny or you're not.
I think that the art of how to work with an audience and how to structure your material can be taught, or how to better your material.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the cadence and the like natural beat of comedy can be taught,
Mm.
or the thought process behind finding what is and isn't funny and writing it down, like all of that. I can't imagine teaching someone that who doesn't have that, but how to present it so that it's heard the way you intend it to be heard, and that it's said in the right order. Again, so that it's intended, you know, the way you deliver it is the intended way. That I think can be taught, because I was taught that.
Like the pauses.
Yeah, like when to pause, like how to present it, I think is what I was able to learn. But
Like-
the material itself and like seeing the world in the way I see it and saying it in the way I say it, I don't know if that could be taught, you know?
I feel like you're
see it.
saying like the it factor. Sometimes it's also
Maybe.
like an it factor that comes with
I'm
it.
also not saying I necessarily have it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
not what I'm really saying. But I am saying that I didn't learn that from somewhere.
hmm
I learned how to deliver it.
You learned how to deliver that. Yeah, no.
I took comedy college.
So
I
you
took
did- you
comedy-
did-
Yeah, I did. I
so
did.
you took it from that side. So
Yeah.
you approve of Comedy College.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, it's a moneymaker, and most folks that go
Yeah.
through there, end up making the money.
With
Comedy College. There's a lot of you can take comedy classes in a lot of places, acting schools, things like that. But the one I took specifically was at Governor's on Long Island.
Yeah.
They do Comedy College. I think they call it either Comedy University or Comedy College, and there's a ton of them in the city.
Yeah.
And what it sort of does is it's a real moneymaker, because not only are they making the money off you when you're taking the class, but then
do
you
a show?
start doing shows, and you bring the people. In order to get on the show, you have to bring 6 people or something. So they fill those seats with all the new comedians whose friends haven't heard them and want to support them, and so.
You are giving me some business ideas. Governors is all the way in Nassau, and we don't have anything.
There is one in Bohemia.
Is there?
Yes.
Oh.
There's one in Bohemia called McGuire's. It's owned by Governors.
Why don't we make something called the Comedic Coyote? And it's just like a whole thing of like, come and learn how to be a funny podcaster, even though I'm not that funny. The only thing funny about me is
I
my
think
relationship
you're funny.
life,
Oh, I think you're funny.
Thank you. I
We laugh.
appreciate that.
I mean, we talk
We
a
laugh.
lot, and
Yeah,
we
yeah,
laugh.
yeah.
I mean, maybe we only think it's funny.
Yeah, I think it's only us.
That's possible.
But it's okay. I like the comedy classes and the courses. I think, like you were saying before, it's something that certain things can't be taught. Like if I taught a hip hop class, I can teach you how to write bars, and I could teach you metaphors and punchlines, and
Right?
you can write it. I heard people say great lines, but I didn't feel him, And Nas was discovered by this dude that was in a group called Third Base, and MC Search was his name. So he's an old school rapper, and he discovered Nas, and he was saying Nas at 15 or 16, he's like was better than me, way better than me, and that was a natural skill that Nas had, and Nas was like just on a different level.
You know what I think sometimes about like children prodigies or
Mm-hmm.
like young people?
Yeah.
Sometimes, so I don't know if I necessarily fully believe in reincarnation,
Mm-hmm.
but it's my favorite theory. And sometimes I think like I wonder if they remember shit
Right.
from the last life, and they like can play the piano at 3.
Well, how
They
about like
remember it or something?
yeah, but what about like kids that like seem like they're like 90, like they're grown kids? You're like,
There's actually some documented instances of children remembering real details from past lives, and they were able to corroborate or corroborate. I think that's the right word. Not the right word.
yeah.
Whatever word that is.
They were able to line up.
Line it up.
Line that up.
Lined it up that like the little girl remembered being a mom in another country, and that man still existed. That was her husband, and by the age of 4 she was so insistent that they finally connected them, and she knew stuff that she couldn't know.
Yeah.
So it's just so interesting. It interests me.
It does definitely open up the mysteries of life.
Hmm.
And my other buddy, ironically enough, his name is Chris. He texted me about coming on the podcast, and he says that reincarnation is like one of the things he wanted to talk to about on the
very
podcast.
cool.
I was just like, yeah. I'm like, cool, come on. Get
Yeah.
on the podcast. Let's talk about it.
It's an awesome. I love the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sits in like a space for me that I guess makes sense.
I was just talking to somebody right now. I came from a recovery event, and we were talking about God and stuff like that. And this person was telling me about that they believe in God because of the darkness and the stuff that was like. So if there has to be darkness, there has to be light, And I said, well, yeah. I said in that aspect, like I believe in a higher power because of love, which is like such a. It's not a quantifiable subject or thing. So like these things, like that person knowing something that they couldn't know, like I call it like X-Files type of information, the mysterious stuff. I think that's for me what makes me believe in something beyond this, because it's stuff that's the unexplained. I grew up on unexplained. I love the unexplained. I grew up on X-Files. unsolved
Mysteries.
mysteries. Yeah, no, but
She
there was
used to
another.
fuck me up before bed. On
Do you
some
remember?
mysteries.
Because we're about the same age. So like, do you remember? It was Leonard Nimoy. He used to voice this In Search of. There's a
Oh,
show
In
called In
Search
Search
of.
of.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
would be like, "Brr, brr, brr, brr," and like they show pictures of like the Loch Ness monster,
Yeah.
Bigfoot,
Yeah, I do remember that.
and stuff like that. So all that, it's all in that realm to me.
Yeah.
It's all in that realm.
Oh, that's interesting that that's sort of where you see like proof. That's so interesting.
I see that if I where my proof is in the questions. That's my like the fact that it's like I think I read today something about like people were like, oh well, I don't believe the Bible because it's man made, and then someone was like, well yeah, man made a book that goes against all their natural desires. That makes sense. And it was kind of like it. Every time I believe I find some sort of an answer, it just leads to more questions. So every answer that I discover leads to more questions. Like if there is
Agreed.
aliens, and then we go on beyond that, or if there is a Bigfoot or not a Bigfoot, you know?
Yeah. I think the lack of, or the finite nature of humanity, very similar to the questions. I think that is where I also sort of attempt to connect. You know, if I, a lot of folks have a very specific concept of God. In fact, that's sometimes the most important piece of their connection to God is the concept. But for me, it's actually the connection rather than the conception. And the connection I have with something, I think whatever it is something I can't conceive because I'm human.
Yeah.
So that's almost like where that lies for me as well. Like the fact that there is a question at all. There's got to be something on the other side of it that I just can't perceive. You know, just like we can't perceive all this microscopic stuff that's going on, but we eventually, you know, science has been able to detect it. There's so much more to detect, I think, outside of us. Like we're just a teeny tiny little piece of a huge puzzle.
Yeah. And like we don't even like I don't even know what's going on, you
No
know, with
idea.
regular things.
No idea, man. We're just on a flying rock
Yeah.
spinning in space.
I feel like honestly,
Fucking
objectionably speaking, is that what I believe is real for me, you know, and what the other person like I try to like make sure I have that much respect, awareness, and consideration that like what that person believes is real for them. So the person that does believe in reincarnation, that is a real thing. That might actually be like so big part of who they are, you know, and to understand it and like respect that they believe that and like hold a space. I remember our buddy, my buddy Brian, who was here. I don't know if it was for why he was here. We were Brian, why were you at my house? Anyway, we were with a few people, and Brian was talking about the law of attraction and things
Cool.
like that. And I was like, yeah, you know. And at one time in my life, I did believe that. I used to be a real estate agent, and they made us watch The Secret. Like they wanted us to like believe
I
and
just
manifest.
listened to The Power.
Yeah.
Which is by the same.
So he was asking me, and like I respected that he believed that, but he was asking me why I didn't believe it. I said, well, I was open to it and this and that. But I said what happened was, I felt like it took God out of the equation for me, and like God is so big for me that like if I can make my own reality without God or asking God, that brings up it. What's it called? It's paradoxical. It brings up like a paradoxical question for me. So it's like, but like biblically speaking, there is no manifestation, but there is an alignment with God's will, saying, no, this is going to happen in God's, if it's God's will. I'm going to pursue this thing, whether it be a career or like it's something that I really feel
To work
strongly in
with
my
it.
heart. Yeah, work with
Yeah.
God to
Proper use of the will.
yeah, proper use of his will. And if it doesn't work out, ultimately that was not God's will, which is, for me, I feel like it's a cop-out. Like, I'm a Christian that's still like, I'm a Christian that challenged my Christian beliefs. I challenge other Christians, and I challenge myself. Because I'm like, but wait a minute. If this is what we believe, then why is this? And then I search until I find answers that I feel are adequate for me. And I'm like, oh, okay, you know what? That does sound, yeah, I feel like that sounds right, you know? Like I had to challenge my own beliefs, because if not, what am I doing?
Well, I think there's certain things that I believed at different times in my own very
Mm-hmm.
life
Yeah.
that are completely contradictory to what I feel today.
Yeah.
And I like what you said about having space for pretty much everybody's beliefs, because I think about a lot being the observer, like me, am actually just the observer of Chris Cuff and Chris Cuff's life and Chris Cuff's thoughts and Chris Cuff's body and whatever. So I think often, if I were the observer of someone else's life, blank's life, if I would have those same beliefs that they have, because I haven't been them their whole life. So it's interesting to think about that, and how, I think I know because of my own experience, but it's only based on my own experience and what I've observed.
Right.
I've only observed this tiny little, if you think of like a flashlight in a warehouse, an Amazon warehouse, right?
Yeah.
There's actually a book I read, I think it was called The Untethered Soul. It's not in that book, but it's in another book by that guy. Anyway, he talks about a flashlight in a warehouse, and like, if you think about what you can see, everything's dark, and you have this tiny little flashlight. That's that's my experience, right? What about the entire rest of the warehouse and all the other people with all their little flashlights and their little space that they can see that's this big?
Yeah.
What do I know? What
That does make
What do I know?
That's actually true to life. So for me, it brings
Politically,
it brings up
religion?
kind of like an objectionable and subjective thinking for me. Like, it's like, all right, I have this preference, right? That's the subjective.
And you get to.
And then you're saying, like, so what I see with the flashlight is subjective, right?
Yeah.
But like, there's other stuff outside the flashlight which is objective because I don't see it. It exists, but I don't know about it.
Right.
So it's objective as far as like it's there, it's existing. I just don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
I think like for me today, it's kind of like I said it on another podcast episode that like there is no wiser John than the one that's here now. Like, there is no sober John, more sober in the future. Like, so my flashlight is right. Like, I'm looking at the only thing that is real, which is now. So like, if there is other stuff, like when I didn't know the stuff I knew about, like, let's say the Bible, for example, like, I read the Bhagavad Gita. I love that book. I had the Zen book. I have all these different things that I like to learn and study and read. And I've been to mosques before. They were really nice to like let us go into these mosques and like, that's why I like I hear people, and like in my personal faith, like, I'm told not to argue with anybody about anything. Like, it's not my job to do that at all. Like, why would I do that? It's because my pride and ego wants to do that. But like, I know that for myself, that I see that what I believe today now is set up exactly what it is. And for me, it's real. That's why I have to remember, like, oh, for everyone else, it's real. And I'm supposed to share my faith through my actions more than my words. So it's kind of like, regardless of what anybody believes, I'm bound. I'm bound to like principles, right? We have principles. Like, I'm bound by principles. It's like, as much as I want to say something, I'm like, oh man, but like, am I doing it lovingly? Am I sharing, like, how do you feel about sharing like unsolicited advice?
I don't give advice.
All right.
I really try not to.
How do you feel about that? Like,
I share experience.
Do you feel stuff like when you see somebody who, like, they look like they're just going down a really bad you shut up, Duck. And they're going down a really bad road, and you just want to, like,
listen,
that one little, like,
I don't know. In fact, I needed drugs and alcohol. I needed them, or I would have killed myself. So if I'm pushing for someone to get sober because I think they're going to die, which they very well might, using, I just don't feel comfortable like being the ultimate push that gets them even sober, because I don't know if that's going to kill them, because I needed that for exactly as long as I had it in my life. in order to survive long enough to get sober, or I would have killed myself at 14. So I don't know. I don't know if it's best that you leave your boyfriend even though horrible things are happening in the relationship.
Or take that job.
I don't
Leave
know.
your mother's house
I
because
don't know what you
because
should
they're
do.
drunk.
I don't even know what I should do
Yeah.
half the time. OCD, they call it like the disease of decisions. Like I struggle with decisions. Am I this flight's the one that's gonna kill me? Which one should I take? Like I think like that. So who am I to know what someone else should do? Even if my experience showed me that getting sober is ultimately great. And I'm using that as an example. And maybe it's a bad example and most people wouldn't agree with that example, but it's an example in my life of something that, like, had I been pulled away from it forcibly, which I was for like 3 weeks at a clip, a couple of times when grounded and stuff like that. But had I been terminated from my access to it, I think I would have killed myself.
Right. You would have nonetheless been a different Chris.
I might not be here.
Yeah.
I might not be here because I don't know what would have happened.
An inch this way or an inch that way. You've been a different trajectory.
A million things had to fucking happen perfectly for us to be sitting here right now. So, like,
Yeah.
So, for you to be sitting anywhere, wherever you are, over a million things had to happen exactly right. Like my grandfather, he almost went to war, and his entire infantry was killed, but he was sick, and he didn't go.
So one little virus.
One little virus in like 1920 is why I'm sitting here exactly as I am with you right now.
In front of Christine.
In front of Christine.
Let me ask you, is that part of anything, any faith type base for you? Do you feel like anything like
that? Definitely pushes me toward, okay, I'm supposed to be here. There's some sort, why didn't I die at 14? I could have just died. I passed out. I had alcohol poisoning. My stomach was pumped. I could have easily just, 50-50, like live or die. Like, why? Didn't I?
That is a crazy thought.
Yeah. So those types of thoughts, in retrospect, at the time, I thought it was bullshit. Who cares? The little doctor at the bottom deck of the cruise ship saved my life. Nowadays, I'm like, whoa. I took this other path for some reason. And I certainly didn't know I took it. I didn't decide to take it. I was gone. I was blacked out. But something took that path for me. It's so interesting.
Well, do you feel like that pull or that guidance is also some sort of...
It's connected to spirituality.
For me.
I wouldn't call it religion. I don't necessarily... I love reading about religions.
Yeah.
But I don't perfectly align with one. But it is super connected to spirituality.
Yeah. I love religion because I love what when the Bhagavad Gita, I think I mentioned it before, about the taste of water. There was a line that said about the taste of water because it made me think about God. Like, I think day before yesterday, I was asking... AI kind of cuts through all the crap and can kind of get to verses for me. So, like, I was like, is God the only one that knows what's in my heart, or do I know? And it says, like, it pulled up a verse that says that the heart is the most deceitful thing that a man has. And it says that only God knows the heart, because I was looking about people judging, because I was looking at this political figure, and I was, like, asking it questions about this political figure, and it said, like, that only God can judge that person. Like, that, it said that my heart's deceitful, meaning that I think I'm doing something for a good motive, and that it will deceive me.
It goes back to the flashlight. You only have, like, a little view.
Yeah, so I don't even know that I'm doing these. I really want, but God sees my heart, and he says he wants to do good, but he doesn't know that he's secretly doing it, either, motivated by just his will. He wants it to be this way.
You ever see that show, The Good Place?
I love The Good Place.
Oh, it's such a good show.
Great show.
I'm not really ruining too much, but there's this, like, spot where they're talking.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, just in case you've never seen it, but I don't think it's gonna ruin it. But there's this part where they're talking about, like, oh, well, you only have to do good, but then this guy's like, all right, so I'll eat an apple. that's good, right? Oh, objectively good to eat an apple. And they're like, yeah, but you know how many people died getting that apple, and like all of these negative things that happen in order for that apple to be there, and like the exploitation of all of the grocery workers or whatever. Like there was so many negatives. He got so many negative points for eating an apple, which is like objectively good, right? It's so interesting. So,
That is that reminds me of my parents both died in recovery, so like I got into NDEs, which is near-death experiences. I got into a lot of those, and a few of them actually coincided with. So, like you said, how could this person know, like a reincarnated kid, know their past? Like these people that don't even know each other were kind of sharing some stories. Were like kind of so. Some of the similar stories go that some people that died had went to the other side, and they said that they got to see their lives, and they got to see how they affected other people. So like if I was like nice to you at the grocery store because you were eating an apple,
good choice. Or is it?
That like what you went on to do, my kindness
Because of that.
made that person be kind to other people. But then it said it also showed like when I was rude to somebody, how they took that
negative
and it went off and spread. So
Ripple.
these are some things that like I think for me are beyond just my natural. I think then that again that goes with the term supernatural. Like all of it, not just my personal faith, every other faith, we all base it on supernatural. So when we say, can we do something? Can we not do something? It's like, well, in the natural, maybe not, but in the supernatural, have at it, because you can have, you can, it's possible, And my buddy got tattooed, said with God all things are possible. It's a line from the Bible. And anyway, we said a lot of good stuff. Let's wrap it up because we're gonna have you back again.
Yes, I'm coming back again.
And we didn't talk about. Did we talk about anything we talked about before the thing? I know I said there was like a relationship thing I wanted to speak about. There was like AI, maybe a relationship with AI. I just saw a woman in Japan that got married to her AI.
Oh.
It's true. Well, actually, I can't say it's true. I just saw a video, so it could have been fake.
It could have been AI.
Doom, doom, doom. Don't trick us anymore, AI. Anyway, Chris, would you like to say something, nice words of affirmation for our friends out there?
Your actions have ripples. Make sure as often as you can that they are positive.
I like that. I know you're sitting over there. Any thoughts? Do you have any final thoughts, Christine?
I second what Chris said.
I like that. She said she seconds it, in case you guys didn't hear it.
Twice.
Whether you guys believe it or not, you are loved. That's mine. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Until the next time, peace out.
Ciao.
So what's your podcast about?
Okay, this is making me feel really uncomfortable. Not like it. Is my mic on?